Hi, YouTube, welcome. It's Dragonfly Dilly here. I have a face. I bet you didn't know. You've only ever seen the munchkin hands. I don't show my face generally. I'm normally filming probably in my pyjamas. But I'm going out for a meal for my nephew's birthday later, so I thought, let's jump on and do this particular VR whilst I've glammed up a little bit. But we will, never fear, be going back to the munchkin hands after this, I'm pretty sure. I did have my electric fan on because it is insanely hot here. Typical British person not able to cope with anything above about 20 degrees. Anyway, the fan made too much noise, so if I occasionally poncy fan myself, please excuse me, but otherwise I will melt and will be a sweaty mess by the end of the video, and no one needs to see that. So this is a VR that I've wanted to do for a little while, but haven't managed to get out of my pyjamas for long enough to... God, I make myself sound so lazy. But yeah, anyway. But this is the Reintroduction hashtag by Coyote Tarot, which I think I first saw on Tammy Pie's channel, but I've seen quite a few responses. I did introduce myself when I first started the channel, and that was only a couple of months ago, but that was when I had like big round zero subscribers, and I've now got pushing somewhere towards 300, which I'm absolutely blown away by. It's amazing. So I thought I'd have a go at doing this Reintroduction VR in case any of you missed my initial one. I've got my little book ready with the prompts because there's no way I'm going to remember them. And we start with the basics, which is where am I from? So I am originally from Southampton in the UK. I was born there. I was bred there. Anyone that doesn't know of Southampton in the UK, I think probably worldwide, we are possibly most famous for being the port that the Titanic left from on her maiden voyage. That's the only reference I can actually think of. I'm sure we're famous for a lot more things. My dad's going to get very cross with me. Spitfire. I'm pretty sure there's... I know my dad watches these videos, and Dad, I'm so sorry, but as soon as I hit record, all of my brain cells seem to melt away. I'm sure we're famous for the Spitfire as well. Anyway, moving on, because the waffle has begun early today. I now live on the beautiful Isle of Wight, also in the UK. I moved here in 2006 because I met a guy from the Isle of Wight, and we are now married. We've been together 25 years and we celebrated our 15th anniversary this year. That was a very long answer to a very short question, wasn't it? I'm from the Isle of Wight. Done. Where did my YouTube name come from? This one I've mentioned a few times. God, I'm sorry. Everything I sort of tell you about is just waffly and long, but that's me. So I've talked before about my wonderful father-in-law, who we lost very, very suddenly just before Christmas in 2022. And it seems weird, I know, that it hit so hard to lose a father-in-law, but if you knew him, he was not like anybody else. He was not like any other father-in-law, and he was also not like anyone else in the world. He was the most incredible, special, wonderful human being, and anyone who knew him will tell you exactly the same. If you met him for a day, you would grieve him because he was incredible, and we were very, very close. He used to give family nicknames, and it took him quite a while to figure out mine. And then one day, in his big sort of bold personality style, he came bounding in and said, I've got your name. I've got your nickname. I've done it. And I said, oh, okay, what's that? And he said, Dilly. Do you get it? Daughter-in-law, D-I-L, Dilly. You're my Dilly. And I went, I love it. I think that's why, I think then you must be my filly. So we called each other Dilly and Filly for the rest of the time that he was here. And he's the only person that did call me Dilly. And okay, emotion, wasn't expecting that. I couldn't bear the thought of not being called Dilly again. So, oh God, look at me getting emotional on YouTube. So I use it for a lot of things. So my vintage clothing business is called Filly and Dilly. And obviously that's the Dilly part of this. And then shortly after he passed away, I went and had an amazing tarot reading, that's life-changing tarot reading, by a lady called Jem, who at the time was reading from our local metaphysical shop, which is called Dragonfly. And from that point onwards, I saw dragonflies everywhere. And I have a very special little card deck that we use as a family just to connect with my father-in-law. And there's a card with a dragonfly on, and he always shows me the dragonfly. So hence Dragonfly Dilly. But I'll let you into a little secret. My real name is Sarah. Hi. But I like Dilly, and I like the idea that you guys might call me Dilly as well. So there we go. Anyway, again, another exceptionally long answer. How long have I been reading? That's easier. I've been reading for about 2.5 years. I still very much consider myself a beginner, although the last sort of 6 months I've really picked up my study, and I think I've grown in confidence and knowledge in that time more than I have done beforehand. So yeah, that's a short answer. Well done me. Okay, how did I get into tarot? I had an interest in tarot when I was a teenager. There used to be a kind of, those, that's my dog's barking, those kind of weekly, I can't think it's who used to do them. So you get like you could build a ship with a part a week or something like that. I used to get one of those that was build a tarot deck. But I was a teenager, and you know what teenagers are like. I didn't really stick with that. I was a very busy teenager. I had a lot of activities and stuff. So yeah, the interest kind of passed. But then when I went for that particular reading after my father-in-law was born? No, after he'd passed. Oh my God. I just fell in love with it. And I fell in love with the deck that Jem used, which is the Druidcraft. And I thought, I want to do this. I really want to learn. So that's really how I got into it. And also, I kind of grew up in a vaguely pagan household. My dad, Morris dancer. I used to be so embarrassed to say that, but I'm actually really proud now. All of our holidays were to folk festivals. I grew up with folk music, folk tales. Christmas wasn't just about Wham and boxes of Quality Street. It was all about kind of magic and ghosty things. But we had corn dollies, and it was never overtly said that we have a sort of pagan leaning, but that was the house I grew up in, and that kind of grew. And that sort of part of me really has emerged since losing Philly, and it's made me so happy. My husband says I'm more myself now than I've been in the 25 years that he's known me. So hurrah for pagan path and tarot and witchcraft and all of those magical, empowering things. Did I actually answer that question in all that waffle? I hope so. Do I read for others? I think that I need to be a lot more experienced to properly read for others. I guess maybe it's a bit sort of the old imposter syndrome, but also I don't want to be responsible for giving a duff reading, an incorrect reading, an upsetting reading. I want to know that what I'm what I'm delivering is right. I want to know that I am doing a proper job, basically. So the short answer is no. I do read for my husband. I read for occasionally some other family members. Bear with me, I've got a call coming in. Okay, that was my mummy. My mother. That was my mum calling me. You can see why I don't do this on video very often, like actually face to face very often, can't you? Because, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I do read for other members of the family on the odd occasion, but I want to be a lot better before I even consider reading for people that I don't know. Okay, moving on. Hurrah. Decks. Do I use Oracle with Tarot? I haven't up until maybe the last sort of few weeks, when I've started to really kind of catch on to the idea of pairings. And I actually worked last month with Feminine Wisdom paired with Earth Woman Tarot, which was amazing. And I actually properly used that as a pairing for half the month, I think, for a couple of weeks, and I really enjoyed it. So it's definitely something that I want to explore more than I do. But normally it's just like a 1-card oracle draw and then a separate spread with tarot. How many decks do I have? I was counting for a while. I did have like a proper like inventory, but then I just kind of, with everything with me, well, actually not everything, because actually it hasn't been with tarot, but I quite often do a little project and then go, and then that's that kind of the listing of decks in a book thing has fallen by the wayside. But I think at last count I'm gonna say I've got about 180. I think I've got about 130 tarot and maybe 50 oracle. I don't know for sure, but that's roughly. And the tarot lives here. The batteries are running out on my little lights, but the tarot lives in this kind of long bookcase here, and my oracle decks live across the other side of the room, because I ran out of space. Frankly, they were all in there, but I had to expand. What do I look for in a deck? It used to be, and actually kind of still is to an extent, I'm really attracted to historical decks. By the way, anyone that has watched before and is playing Dragonfly Bingo, please tick off she mentions that she loves history, specifically Tudor and medieval history. So decks that have a kind of theme towards Tudor and medieval art or theming, if that makes sense, I would be my sort of go-to, as well as very pagan centric decks and witchy decks, which I still go for, but I'm now in a place where I want to kind of expand my collection to include some different things. I want to kind of broaden my horizons a bit and see what I can get from other kinds of decks. So I've got a few more modern decks now, like Fifth Spirit, Everyday Witch, Modern Witch. You'll know the one I mean, I'm sure. But yeah, so I want to go for something, and also quirky decks now as well. I'm looking for something that's like the Hieronymus Bosch tarot, something that's a bit off the wall. Although I'm not really a fan of like horror decks. I hate when there are lots of skulls in it. That's not very me. As you can see, I'm a bit girly, fluffy to a degree, so that's not my kind of thing. But anyway, how would I describe my collection? I would have described it as historical, pagan, witchy, but now I'd describe it as sort of mixed, varied. But to me, I've just had a notification up on my phone that someone's replied to my last hashtag. That's very cool. Thank you. I'll watch that in a bit. But for me, I think I would describe them as my safe space or my therapy. I love them. I can't explain it. It's a if you know you know situation. I just treasure them actually, and I'm actually so grateful to them for what they do for me. Tarot is therapy for me. That's divination, yes, to a degree, but mostly it's therapy, and it's personal therapy, and it's brilliant. I love it. It's a nice little safe space, and I love it. Go-to tarot and oracle. I don't have a go-to in that it's one that I will pull all the time. I have favourites. My absolute favourite deck of all time out of tarot and oracle is currently the Solitary Witch Oracle, because it just feels like they made that deck for me. I know they didn't, but I'm going to say that they did because it makes me feel nice. But go-to tarot is hard. I think I quite often pick up the Green Witch. And probably, I don't know if you can actually even hear me now, Fyodor Pavlov. And I love my mini Gilded Tarot Royale as well, because that travels with me a lot. So yeah, I can't pinpoint the go-tos, but those are ones that I use a lot. Do I rehome decks? Well, I buy. I rehome them from others, because I would say about 70 to 80% of my decks are pre-loved. But I have rehomed a couple. I've got like 3 or 4 on vintage at the moment. What determines it? Just decks that I'm not going to use, and that I know I'm not going to use, or that I have no attachment to, or they were basically the ones that I am selling or have sold have been ones that I bought really, really early on. They're all oracle, by the way. I've never sold a tarot deck, because I just, even if it's one I'm not using, I can't at the moment. Maybe one day I will. But yeah, they're just ones I bought really early doors that I just don't fit with who I am now or my practice now. Okay, practice-wise, what it looks like, sort of daily basis, location, etc. So I did a short about this last week, I think, didn't I? That every morning, if I can, but sometimes it has to wait till the evening, I will pull a study card, so a deck that I'm using purely for, not for readings, but purely sort of on a card-by-card basis, really doing deep dive into that particular deck to really learn it and understand it, which is something I pinched from Sylvie at Tarot Magpie. I thought it was such a wonderful idea, and which this month is the Hush Tarot. And then I will generally draw an oracle card from the oracle deck I've decided to use for that month or for that 2-week period. And then I would do a little sort of mini spread, 3 or 4 cards. If it's in the morning, it will either be a mind, body, spirit draw, just to kind of see where I am balance-wise, or it will be what's going to be the theme of the day, what will I experience? What will guide me, what will I experience, and what will I learn today? And if it's at the end of the day, it will be a kind of evaluate the day. What was the theme of the day? What I can't remember the 3 things, because normally I do it in the morning, to be honest. But yeah, it would just be like a little kind of balanced spread, really. But then I will do, if I need a bigger spread at some point in the day, if something's happened, or I have a decision to make, or I'm feeling frankly crappy, I will then do a spread I will go and pick a deck that feels right for that particular problem or question, and I'll do a spread with that. Location wise, here I open up my beautiful freebie, which I still cannot believe I got from like FaceBay by something or other for free, because I love it. So I pull this down and I get a little chair and I sit there and I do my practice there. What else is it? Oh yeah, clarifies. I have a pendulum. You see, just about hang it by my head there, but I don't use it in conjunction with tarot, at least not at the moment. if I need to clarify, right, it's basically pull more cards, or journal. I will write down the cards and the meanings, and normally as I'm writing, it becomes clearer. It's kind of like a flow thing. The thoughts will flow out onto the page and will clarify for me normally. A typical reading, yeah, as I said, it would be I think I've kind of covered that really, haven't I? It will be generally a balanced one. I love doing a mind, body, spirit. I think that's just to check them all level, which I'm very, very normally not, as you can probably tell. Level's not something I do. Normally a bit whoop or a bit. Yeah, that was clear, wasn't it? But yeah, so that's my typical reading. If I'm reading for my husband, I will do something like a mini Celtic cross, or it depends really on what's being asked, or like a 5-card something or other. Can't think off the top of my head, but normally like a, you know, the querent, the sort of central theme, past, present, future, what's blocking, that kind of malarkey really. Yeah, so then finally it's the tube, the old YouTube stroke tarot tube. What are my favourite things to watch and post? So watching wise, if we're talking tarot, which obviously we are, because this is a video about tarot. I love watching a haul video. Oh my god, keep those coming, because, well, actually my husband would probably say please don't keep them coming, because my list grows and grows and grows with every video I watch. I go, ooh, I like that, don't like that, don't. So I love a haul video, but I really like videos that show people's practice. Not because I want to steal ideas, but because I'm still very much a novice and I want all the information. I want to know all the things. I want to know what will help. I want to, if you've got like a really cool way of memorizing something or learning something, or a great spread that works for a particular thing, or I just want to absorb all the information. So like I've mentioned several times Sylvie from Tarot Magpie, who I have learned so much from, actually, and the sort of impact that they've had on my practice in the last 6 months has been immense. Lisa Papez, I've learned so much from Lisa. She is the sort of the Don. And just watching everybody, honestly, I love Feeding My Soul, Tammy Pie. Oh gosh, I can't even. I should have written you all down, because I think you're all brilliant creators and you've all got something wonderful to offer, and you're all just really lovely people as well. So what do I like to post? Me just waffling on about stuff. I don't know, it becomes I have these lovely plans for posting. It's going to be like this, and it's going to be about this, and and then it kind of goes out the window as I waffle on. I just kind of, this stream of consciousness kind of verbal bleh comes out, and then I go, put it up. Occasionally I'd re-record, because I'd go, oh god, I sound like an absolute muppet, but actually I'm kind of a little bit over that now, and I'm just posting it anyway, as you can tell from this video. But I think I'd like to probably post a little bit more about practice, quite a bit more about witchcraft, because I like to watch. Hearth Witch is my particular favourite creator in that sense. So I'd like to probably post a little bit more about that, but then that's a little bit more private to me, so it's finding a balance. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm a new channel. It will evolve. How did I get into doing this? So I blame a midlife crisis, honestly, because I was when I was really small, really young, really small. I'm 5 foot. I haven't really grown much, so I'm still kind of really small. But when I was really young, really young, I was a really outgoing, confident, show-offy kid. And so naturally, bingo cards at the ready, I went into a performance career. You wouldn't know it to look at me now. But yeah, I became a professional dancer, singer, that kind of stuff. But it's brutal. It's a really brutal career in terms of your mental health and your self-confidence. And I'm afraid that my experience wasn't great. There are a lot of people out there who are really encouraging, but there are also an awful lot that are there to toughen you up. And I'm quite a sensitive person. I don't apologise for that anymore, because actually I think it makes me who I am. And it just broke me. It just broke my confidence. Then when I had my daughter, yeah, I'm going to openly say it. Why not? And these things should be talked about. I suffered from postnatal depression. My lovely little dancer's figure sort of swanned off somewhere, never to be seen again. And I just hit a place where I had like so little confidence left. And I wouldn't go and do anything. I had dreadful anxiety, scared to do anything, go anywhere. Yeah, just awful. And actually I didn't realise actually until I'm talking about it now how bad that was. And then when we had a really awful period where we from sort of 2021 up till pretty much last year, maybe, yeah, 2024, 2023, of just bereavements and losses and illness, and I hit a point where I went, I'm done. I don't know how to carry on. But somehow I did. I went and actually got some help. Please, people, if you are struggling like that, never be afraid to ask for help. It's so important that we say this. Because, my God, I'm a different person now. Finding the path I'm on really helped. That has boosted my confidence no end. But also getting some proper help has changed me too. And I kind of hit 40 and went, I think I'm all right. I think I'm actually a half decent person. I think I'm all right. I'll do. And so I started to kind of have this midlife crisis of trying to do things out of my comfort zone again, I guess, and trying to get back to a little bit of that inner child that I used to have, that used to just, sparkle, really. I lost sparkle. I used to have it and I lost it. So one of the things I did was get my ears pierced for the first time last year, aged 45. I'm debating getting a tattoo. Don't tell my mother. Only a little one, and on my back of a dragonfly. I haven't done it yet because basically I'm too scared to tell my mother at my age. And probably my dad. Sorry, Dad. Haven't done it yet. I traded in my family car for a much cheaper, much crapper car because it was a red convertible. And I've gone on YouTube. Sorry, again, really long answer, but having watched so much TarotTube, my husband said, you could do that. No, I don't know enough. The whole imposter syndrome kicked in. He said, but maybe that's your thing. Maybe the unique thing is that you are still learning. You aren't on there as an expert. You're not on there to tell people how to do anything. You're just sharing your journey. And so I went, oh, okay. And I thought about it, and then I recorded my first video and I showed it to him. I said, what do you think? Is it all right? And then I showed it to my daughter. He was like, oh yeah, Mummy, that's really good. I'm really proud of you. Which, that doesn't get said that often, so that's a good sign. Normally she'd go, oh God, you're so embarrassing. And I showed it to my dad, and I think maybe possibly my best friend. Did I do that before or after I'd uploaded it? I don't know. And they said, it's great, do it. So I uploaded it and here we are. Still waffling on a couple of months later. Actually, you probably think I haven't stopped. I just turn the camera off and keep going, and it's like a constant stream of noise. Finally, you'll be glad to know, anything you'd do differently now that you sort of... I actually just scribbled down anything you'd do differently, and I can't remember the rest of the question. It was like, and now that you know what you know about tarot tube and YouTube, what would you do differently? I'm too new to really answer that question properly, I think. Ask me in a year. I think I'd probably be less worried about it, actually, because I was really scared. I still am a bit scared, honestly. But God, you guys are amazing. Like, this is such an amazing community. Like, I was fully expecting kind of, you know, having warned my daughter about what people can be like on the internet, you know, I was expecting the odd, oh my God, you're so annoying, or, oh, you don't know anything about tarot, oh, why are you using that deck for that? Stop sharing that deck, it's rubbish, or, you know, but no, the only thing I've had is, can you turn the music down a bit, because I want to hear you. I'm not taking that as a criticism. I've turned the music down. So yeah, I think I would just maybe approach it with a bit more confidence, so maybe I should try and do that. Maybe I should come on and appear with no makeup in my pyjamas. Let's have a Dragonfly Dilly pyjama party one night, shall we? We'll all get a glass of wine, we'll get in our PJs and we'll have a chat about tarot. What do you reckon? Oh dear. Do you know what? That might actually be quite a fun idea. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Anyway. You see what happens. This is why my videos are so long, because I just can't control this. Anyway. That's that. That's the VR. This is me, Sarah, Dragonfly Dilly. Please call me Dilly if you feel so moved, because it's a name that means a lot to me. I've just heard my daughter coming home from school, so I'm going to have to hurry this up a little bit. But please do like and subscribe if you can bear to watch any more. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon. Bye bye.